Scoop dee boop dee loop. Scoop dee boop dee boop. Pink what? Pink tits. Whoa. Oh, dude. Oh my god. Clima de Hoy. Lunes 3 Julio. Clima de Hoy, lunes 3 Julio de 2023. Cannot do his Spanish accent. God damn, boy, look at that donkey. Look at that fat ass. Watch glitter.
Just trust me. All I'm going to say to set the scene here is that I came across a message that somebody had written to the person they loved. Somebody they reasonably thought they'd lost and would never see again, despite holding out hope that their worst fears weren't true. I'll never know if the music that plays in this moment was a coincidence or an intentional part of the game design, but either way, well, just watch. You can hear the other escape pods' distress signals, which gives me hopes. Fully, you're still here. I'm unsure of how to survive in this place without you. I'm unsure how to be me without you. How does Starfield handle the moment when you finally discover the ultimate cause of the death of planet Earth, the birthplace of human civilization, and hear the final words of a man that single-handedly made that fateful decision that sealed its fate?
And if you're listening to this, then you probably already know the truth. But I have no reason to lie to anyone now, so I hope you'll accept this confession. Whoever you are. Human culture, art, music, lifestyles evolving and shining brightly across all of space. What price would I be willing to pay for that future? Maybe you don't believe me. Maybe Judith was right and I'm just a coward who wants to believe his mistakes were justified. But everyone has forgotten about the real origins of the grav drive. This artifact from Mars. I hope you make better use of it than I did.
Is there going to be like a revolver on the ground next to him with like 5 rounds chambered and 1 empty chamber?
How'd he die?
Nah, man, it's just mannequin.jpg on top of blood.jpg.
Wow.
He does have structural
That's so
material in it.
immersive. Wow. Starfield really. They really went next level for this game. This is a step above anything I've ever seen. Look at that blood. Look at how his robe is clipping through his pants. Or the bottom part of his robe is buttoned and it's clipping right through his leg. That's just a part of the Bethesda charm. If you can't see the vision, then just get the fuck out of here. You shouldn't even be alive if you can't see the Bethesda vision. Such a beautiful vision. It might look ugly, might look like dog shit, and it might feel like dog shit, but come on, it's a Bethesda game.
Pockets, though. No, I mean, that makes sense, right? Everything leading up to this big reveal moment The reveal itself and what came right after were just chock full of missed opportunities to get us to feel something or to actually care about what was going on. This location and the story that's being told here are actually compelling, in theory, but the way they actually did it was just so anticlimactic. There was no crescendo, there was no buildup of tension, there were so many little moments within the larger scene that could have been super impactful with the right amount of environmental storytelling, or maybe with a little bit of music at the right time. Walking through this old, abandoned, dilapidated NASA facility with all of the cool stuff on display, the decaying remnants of what was once a pillar of human scientific triumph, now as dead as the planet it lives on. This scene could have been so affecting, but all they did is just drop a couple of models of some ship parts and a couple of spacesuits, and just kind of hope that that would do the heavy lifting in terms of any kind of emotional impact. This was their moment to really pull at our heartstrings, and then right afterwards to make us feel the ultimate tension during this escape sequence. Now, I actually like that there's no music for at least part of when you come to the terminal right before the ultimate revelation. I think that was actually a really smart decision, or at least I would have if I thought that it was actually an explicit decision at all, given that this entire sequence didn't have
You know,
any
I'm
music
not
playing
doing
at
all
any
this
point
cooking
either.
shit. Fuck
This is
this,
just one more
man.
example of something that I can't
Hey,
tell if it
kitty.
was either a
What's
terrible
poppin'?
decision and over.
What? I took you outside. You were going further down the stairs. I can't take you exploring that far. You're getting a little wild and wacky for me. If something pops up, you might start running back up the stairs and forget where the door is. I don't know. I don't know if she's that dumb. Cats are autistic, but I don't know if they're like have no sense of direction, or at least in my apartment. My
Sight,
bad.
them
Go ahead.
being extremely lazy,
Veritas.
or if the game is literally just bugged. I also very much feel like they missed the mark with what was seemingly the ultimate decision that the player is given to make in the story, because the decision doesn't ultimately have an impact on anything important in the world. You're just asked to choose between two arbitrary, oversimplified opinions about what somebody else did 100 years ago, something that already happened that you can't change. You don't have to make a decision about what to do. You have to make a decision about how you feel about something that's already been done. You're ultimately deciding which of these two assholes wins their petty argument, or you can take neither side and the ending is just basically a little bit more annoying. And then there's also the fact that after you talk to these guys, they basically just say, well, okay, well, now you know the stakes. We'll let you go get the rest of the artifacts that we've been trying to keep you from getting the whole story, just so that we can have an epic showdown right there at the finale. Like, I've never before seen a story so obviously and blatantly set up the whole bad guy monologue right before getting taken down by the hero cliche. Like, holy shit. I don't know if they were really trying to go for the whole white suit good guy, dark suit bad guy trope or what, but I really did find both of their arguments pretty weak. And in watching a lot of reviews and playthroughs from people who otherwise love the game, this feeling seems to be a fairly common one. Again, maybe this is just me, but I felt as if the choices they set up related to what to do with the artifacts at the end of the game just all seemed so uninspired. Actually, now that I think about it, it almost feels too inspired by everything going on today, everyone feeling the need to latch onto one absurd extreme or the other. Actually, the more I say this, the more I wonder if this game's story is some genius metaphor for the political— No. God damn it, no. They didn't think that hard about any of this. There are also a few elements of this that I'm not sure that many folks thought about, but that personally detracted from the weight of all this at the time. The first was that we've spent a bunch of time visiting far more hostile planets than this. Planets even like Mars, with no atmosphere or magnetosphere, where we mostly live underground. And yet Earth just mostly seems like a desert. It feels like it has far less inhospitable living conditions than many of the other places that we see humans colonizing perfectly fine. Like, the impact of basically killing the entire planet isn't really felt, at least for me, when we go out and it just feels like we're out in the Sahara Desert. And what's more is the other aspect of this. Basically that at no point are we told about anybody actually dying in this process, at least as far as I can remember. Like, it's not like we're told 7 billion people were left to die, that the ultimate decision was a trade-off between humans becoming an interstellar species and millions or even billions of lives. That's actually far more of an interesting and compelling thing to ponder. But instead, this whole thing falls completely flat because it all feels so far removed from any actual human cost. We basically see that Earth is a desert and we see a dead body, and that's it. It's not like we see piles of skeletons crawling all over each other, scrambling to get into the lifeboats into space. All we have is this vague, hypothetical, ethical question about what a guy did 100 years ago that we're asked to weigh in on. And that is what determines how we approach the ultimate ending of the game. Deciding whether or not to kill Paarthurnax towards the end of Skyrim was a far more difficult and emotional decision for me. And the environmental storytelling we get from this scene inside of a classroom in Outer Wilds says so much more than anything Starfield does. And Outer Wilds doesn't actually need to say anything at all to have the impact felt by anybody with a heart. Unfortunately, it gets worse. How about the final showdown of the entire game? The culmination of everything that came before it, the climax of the whole story, with the fate of a literal multiverse in your hands.
I want to hear this.
Fine. Is that a note of concern? Live and let live. Is that right? Well, I don't know about either of you, but it's been a while since I felt this old.
Perhaps it's time to put this all to an end.
It's really hard for me to believe that the people that tell me that my criticisms are unfair or unfounded actually played the game at all or were even remotely paying attention during any of these moments. And if they were, do they really think that that's what we'd expect from a game that cost $400 million to make, that cost you $70, and that they spent over 7 years working on? I mean, even Diablo 4, a game that received exponentially more criticism than Starfield, went through the trouble of making a pretty damn epic cinematic leading up to the final boss fight. And the final boss fight itself was actually pretty sick. D4 is the most recent game that was hip to call a bad game. And even that game had music during the most important moments of the game. And it's not like Bethesda isn't capable of slapping together some cinematics at the bare minimum to make these moments remotely exciting. And that's why I'm just so utterly puzzled that people get so upset anytime anybody has remotely reasonable criticisms about the game, and how so many people say things like, this is our generation's Star Wars. Actually, unless they're talking about episode 1, then that actually might make sense. The moral of the story here is that we don't need AAA graphics, we don't need games to be perfectly bug-free, we don't need games built from billion-dollar budgets, they don't need the best voice actors in the business, or any voice actors for that matter. All game developers need to do is care enough to learn for themselves what we already know about what makes for truly great games, what makes for incredible stories, what makes the people that play their games feel something powerful, giving them the experiences that can literally change the way that we look at things. If they put all of that passion they've historically invested into marketing, into packing every possible half-baked feature they can think of into their games, and into meeting unreasonable deadlines, and instead put that blood, sweat, and tears towards the really meaningful details that matter, and learning how to properly tell a story, then we wouldn't have to have these kinds of discussions about where the quality bar for video games should be. But unfortunately, if we don't start holding developers to higher standards, truly remarkable games like Baldur's Gate 3 or Outer Wilds are going to continue to be anomalies, and that would be a shame. Now, if you made it this far in the video, I really appreciate your time. If you want to see more content like this, please share it with your friends and consider subbing to the channel. I'll leave you with the moments that followed right after the credits began to roll after my first playthrough of Outer Wilds, a game that everybody should play at least once. It fundamentally changed the way that I look at games, and showed me what a game telling a great story is capable of. Something that I don't need to tell you about because I'd rather show you. Thanks for watching.
Religions of America. Yes, he is describing secularism. He just wants to frame wokeness as a religion.
Good news,
It's that
that's
simple.
in the U.S.
That's what the Constitution says.
That's
Yeah,
exactly right.
I
That's in
believe
the
this
U.S.
thing called the
Constitution. That is why the U.S. Constitution
Yeah.
is considered the first secular constitution. But okay, now we've all done a literacy and civics test.
Well, look, I think it's in the First Amendment for a reason. Free speech, free expression, freedom of religious choice, and non-establishment. Yes, those are foundational to our constitutional republic. I do think that many of
Vivek failing his civics test again. Yoink! Get fucking no voting for you, buddy. You're a Zoomer, right?
the philosophies that are foisted on kids, the hostility towards schools that may want
Love a
to
good
adopt
foisting.
certain religious worldviews as private schools, the hostility towards somebody who says if you don't approve of a certain kind of marriage, you still have to officiate that marriage using the state's force to do it. That's what I mean by capital S secularism, to say that you are forcing somebody to do.
What? You need to do a religion to do a marriage? What? The state will marry you. You just have to do paperwork. What?
Something that mean by the hostility towards somebody who says if you don't approve of a certain kind of marriage, you still have to officiate that marriage using the state's force to do it. That's what I mean by capital S secularism, to say that you are forcing somebody to do something that violates their religion.
You don't. Wait, guys, am I wrong on this? I'm pretty sure if a priest doesn't want to officiate a gay wedding, they don't have to. It's just that the state has to recognize the marriage. Marriage, the legal entity of being married, is something that the government has to recognize. But if you're a religious official, you don't have to do that. I think it might vary by state. Are priests forced to officiate gay weddings? No. No. First Amendment protection. They don't.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I'm not seeing it. If your religion doesn't recognize like gay marriage or whatever, like okay, fuck you, eat shit, die. But also marriage is a legal construct that is officiated by the state. He's talking about government officials not needing to do marriage license. Then maybe you shouldn't have been a government employee, you stupid fat bitch. Oh, I'm sorry. Does the government employee have to do things for the government and not acting as some kind of self-designated fucking clergyman? Him fucking Davis, fucking ghoul.
Using the government's power to do it. That is what I reject. And so call that what you want. It's not the vocabulary.
Oh, does someone have to do your job?
That matters. It's the concept. I am against that. And you may disagree with me on that, but at least we can smoke out where our likely disagreement is rather than
What?
worrying about verbiage.
What do you want?
Nice meme. All right, that was pretty great. Nicely done, TYT. The T's were YTing, is what I'm saying. Nicely done. Well done. Good shit. Love that. Love that. Ugh. You're right, but a bunch of people point to 1978 Mormon tax status to say you can't discriminate, period, because no, that's because official fucking Mormon religious code said that black people were subhuman or some shit, and the government was like, hey, you gotta cut that out or you're not gonna be tax-free anymore. And the Mormon church was like, sorry, and then they got to keep their tax-free status. That was pretty good. Okay, folks. The stream, it's exactly 3. Fuck! I do actually have a thing I need to do, so I think I'm going to read these donations tomorrow morning when I stream. Wish me luck vis-a-vis the Adderall thing, because I'm hoping they refill my shit today. Maybe I will. I'll take a look at it tomorrow, Mistress Lynn. The video link. I mean, I saw your dono. I didn't burn that bridge, Emissary. Yeah, I want to talk about Alec Gunter and Shark talking to Matt Walsh, so that'll be tomorrow as well. Remember to sign up with Progressive Victory so we can make Alabama trans again or something. I love you all very much. You are beautiful people. Absolutely beautiful. Again, I'll read donations tomorrow. Yeah, I'm going to host Beetle Moses because he's my boy, you know? What about the Call of Duty thing? Do I even want to engage with this? There was a professional player who got kicked from like a Call of Duty partnership or sponsorship or something because he was supporting fascists attacking protesters or something like that. Is there even enough here for me to bite into? I always want to talk about, oh, well, what are people searching on? Search engine optimization. You got to get that SEO going. But FaZe? Was it the FaZe guy? It's always with the FaZe people. Was it a different one? The Nick Mercs. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's the person.
Damn, the ship is so
This is
fucking
what he looks
fast.
like.
Jesus
Oh man,
Christ.
I hate to pull on
Holy
the like immediate
fuck.
impressions thing. I never make fun of people's appearances.
Or at least it just feels
You know, you look
fast.
right at this guy and you think, wow,
I don't know, man. I think it's just
this
fucking
guy
cool.
is gonna have a really great take on anything. This guy, big brain man. Definitely doesn't look like the kind of guy that Batman would beat up after saying, "You got it, boss." Big thinker.
You got it, boss. Oh, was not supposed to do the thing. Oh, fuck.
Skin from,
I forgot the
Call of Duty
bomb.
following anti-LGBT.
What are we gonna do?
A bunch of people on the far right are supporting him, of course, and I've always said, and we all know this, by the way, that the like modern warfare community has always had a highly reactionary element, maybe the most reactionary. I don't know what it is exactly, right? The real-time strategy full of Koreans. Fighting games full of black people. You know, things like Overwatch, Valorant, or any other game that has a colorful art style, a lot of homosexuals. Call of Duty, it's all racist white guys and Hispanic people. I don't understand. It's like the sorting hat for games. Like they by your race and how racist you are. They yeah, and Russians too. Russians and with Dota 2 as well. And they like
Race sorting.
Hey, that's not, it's completely true. Hey, no, us
Art
Hispanic
makes
people
you
like people. I'm
gay.
talking about professional players here, like
Ah.
sports leagues and stuff. Not
Chad making good
FIFA,
point.
whatever. Yeah, basically, there was the video footage of that, the protest where a school was considering recognizing Pride Month, June as Pride Month. And then there was a protest outside of both pro and anti-LGBT people. And then some fascist Proud Boys showed up. Yeah, I was in Glendale. And attacked people. And there's like video footage of the Proud Boys just attacking people. This is not an ambiguous situation at hand here. And then Nick Merckx responded to that saying something along the lines of like, well, maybe they should have like left the kids alone, right? Hassan talked about this discourse with XQC on stream. Do you have a clip of that? Yeah, that's it. I remember that originally this tweet had like very little likes compared to the quote tweets and to the comment replies because it's such a stupid thing to say. But then the entire far right, which is the entirety of the right, jumped in it. You know, it's like if somebody shot up a synagogue because they thought Jews were like feasting on children's blood, and FaZe Nick Merckx was like, they should leave little children alone. That's the real issue. Because a lot of people are saying only pedophiles would take issue with saying leave the little children alone. Well, it's like, well, no, the problem is your statement is saying that the children aren't being left alone. And remember, by the way, when all the right-wing people were pretending that their problem was just with transgender, like, hormone therapy for minors? And now we've gotten to a point where recognizing Pride Month is grooming. Like, this happened in, like, a year. I remember, like, 1 year ago, and of course, because I'm always right, the whole time I was saying, this is just going to include all forms of what they perceive to be degeneracy. This doesn't stop here. But I called it, but back then they were like, oh, we don't have a problem with gay people. We don't have a problem with this, that, the other. You know, they still have those, like, LGB orgs or gays without groomers. But obviously, these were always fronted by
gays without the
cisgender
groomers.
people who fucking despise us. Now it's just like June month as a whole is grooming. Everything is grooming. It's all grooming. Existing is grooming. That's their argument, by the way. You know, it's
Yeah,
not
gays
new. They've been
against
doing this
groomers.
stuff since the 80s. before the 80s, the Nazis did this with gay and trans people back in the 20s and 30s. It's not new. It's the exact same thing over and over and over and over again. Wait, is XQC
Yo, what am I-
seriously suggesting that he thinks that fascists beating up protesters is defending children from the crime of Pride Month? What is this?
What's happening?
What's
How's
happening?
Texas?
Pretty bad. I mean, it was fantastic. That was pretty bad, but I'm not even talking about that. No, I'm not gonna be able to do some drama bait. I'm not doing that. How are you?
No, I wasn't trying to bait you into drama at all. I was just like asking a normal question. Like it wasn't like that.
Oh, okay,
It's like how's the weather? You know, that's what I was saying.
Yeah, it makes sense. No, you're right. Okay, so basically, okay, yeah.
So what's up? What are you confused about?
Right, XQC has the worst takes. I mean, yeah. I just want to see if he has a take.
Alright, listen.
Why does he talk so fast?
There was like the Nick Merckx clip, right?
Yeah.
Some people said good things, some people said bad take. It wasn't even a take, to be honest. It actually wasn't. I was just more trying to inquire, right, about how that works. Like, why is it bad or whatever, you know?
Guys, XQC isn't like anti-LGBT or whatever here, right? This is just XQC, like, not knowing what's going on and asking Hassan for his opinion. This isn't, I'm not gonna look at this and go like, he's just stupid. Yeah, but I'm not gonna look at this and go like, oh, XQC took his side or whatever. Dr. Disrespect did take his side, however, which isn't really surprising, because Dr. Disrespect's entire, like, thing has been appealing to 12-year-olds who are too stupid to understand that he's deliberately characterizing masculinity. So, it makes sense that that would be, like, the group he appeals to. Isn't Dr. Disrespect a wife beater or was cuckolded? He cheated on his wife. Which, by the way, I still understand why that was made into a big issue. He cheated on his wife, and then he did, like, a teary stream announcement. Bro, isn't that, like, personal... I don't have a wife. If I cheated on my wife, my first thought would be the community can never know about. Like, if I had a falling out with my loved one, my first thought would be, wow, this will be made infinitely worse for everyone if it gets made public info for no reason, because it has nothing to do with, but he just didn't. I have no idea. I have no idea. It's truly baffling to me. Yeah, that's why it was funny. Yeah. You shouldn't cheat on people, by the way. It's really bad to do that, just to be clear. Keeping anything from being held over your head. Yeah, I guess so. Maybe, yeah.
Oh, it's not even that far. Oh, shit. Got my dioxide farm. Oh, I got a whole area nice cut out. Okay. We're set up pretty good. This part over here looks fucking stupid. I'm gonna repair it. Why is my camera going up? There we go. There we go. Okay. I gotta find salt farms. There's some on the, I think Fungusy. There's plenty of salt and ammonia, all that shit. Chlorine. Chlorine's pretty expensive. I think somebody said something about farming that. I gotta check it out. Do something with that chlorine, put it up my ass. See if I can get a good deal for it, hey. God, these loud fucking motorcycles, Jesus Christ. The UFOs. Yeah.
Hey, what's up, fam? Isn't this day bussin'? Do you guys remember the Miles Morales Thor comic shit show where they were doing those Marvel like what if alternate universe things? And it was like, what if Miles Morales was Thor? So he made the hood in New York, Asgard, and he had fresh kicks on it as a god of thunder. And
Yo!
this is more racist than any clan lynching that has ever been conducted in the United States.
Wait, hold on. Wait, I'm confused. They did what?
Hey, what's up, fam? Isn't this day bussin'? Do you guys remember the Miles Morales Thor comic shit show where they were doing those Marvel like what if alternate universe things? And it was like, what if Miles Morales was Thor? So he made the hood in New York, Asgard, and
Let's see the hood. There's a fucking goat. What is this? What? Oh, because it's Asgard. They got a goat. Okay. Alright, I guess. It's like a mix. You got Asgard statues in New York.
and he had fresh kicks on it as a god of thunder. And this is more racist than any clan lynching that has ever been conducted in the United States. By Odin's Fade. I remember this. I'll never forget this. See, he's a god, and he's got his sneakers. He's got oh yeah, and they all did it.
The
in
lightning
rhyme,
fade.
too. He's got style and he's got flair to boot. With his kicks, you know he's in hot pursuit. Wow, that doesn't even have the same number of syllables.
And he rhymes. He could rap.
Jesus
do hippity hop.
Christ. All his dreams rain from the clouds above. He brings the thunder. Best believe it, bruv. Where's the
Bruv,
Odin's
oi,
Fade?
bruv. Ain't it?
I'm sorry, it's really
Just a little bit of racism.
It's like the
Nothing
DK
to it.
rap, except the charm has been replaced with racism. Well, to be fair to the writer who made this probably felt like the DK rap to him too. Oh yeah, wait, sorry, one last
The
thing.
DK
I also
rap.
really like how even though this is supposed to be Asgard, there's like graffiti and shit and like shoes hang on the wires. Even though depending on where you are, that means like drug dealer or a kid died here or something. And like the seat, like the throne of the universe or some shit. But it's like, oh well, black people control it. So you know there would be like ghetto shit. What would a black do if they had
What?
an ancient god-fearing weapon, Mjolnir?
What?
I know. They would put generic graffiti on it. That looks like shit. Because, like, black people just do graffiti.
Wait,
right?
what?
Like, the ancient god-fearing weapon, Mjolnir. I know. They would put generic graffiti on it.
That's horrible.
That looks like shit. Because, like, black people just do graffiti, right? Like, that, like, it doesn't have to look good. It's like graffiti. It's like trash. They just leave trash everywhere, right? Incredible. Oh, that's super racist. No, it's actually really racist. Yeah, completely and massively so. It's pretty funny, though. This is, I think this is one of the reasons why, in spite of the fact that some people might call it stereotypical,
Keys jingling. Oh. What the fuck? Why is my house purple? Okay. Pretty cool. Pretty nice.
Typical. Nobody gave a shit that in the Into the Spider-Verse movie, Miles Morales, like, is into, like, tagging and graffiti and shit. Because they showed respect to the art by having him be good at it, and not just be like, oh, it's Black Spider-Man, so he's, like, a hood rat, he tags shit or whatever. Like, it's clearly, like, an artistic interest in the art form, which, you know, cool. I wish more graffiti looked like this. Oh, here we go. There's the By Odin's Fade. By Odin's Fade, I command you. See, he's got a hoodie. Because he's black, see? So his, like, Thor outfit has a hood. Because it's a hoodie. Because black people. And look, he's got tats. And there's his fade. Odin doesn't even have a fade in this comic. He's got an afro. Wait, seriously? Does he not even have a fade in this? So he literally is just saying it? No, he's bald? What? Nice fade, bro. By Odin's afro would be a million times worth. Honestly, by Odin's fro, I genuinely don't think... Like, that feels like it's on pace with this comic. So funny. Is it now leftist to ban white people from making art? I think it should be. Huh? Nice try, buddy. That comic, that wonderful Miles Morales comic we just looked at, was made by a Mexican man. There's a lot of white supremacy in Latin America, folks.
Yep.
Arguably more than America in some ways. Not in all ways. But the
Holy
politics
shit, this
of,
is a
like,
fat
racial
landing
supremacy
pad.
in some parts of
I
Latin
might start
America
using this
are so
one.
overt that it's actually kind of insane.
Oh,
It reminds
it
me
like
of, like, Bolivia
attaches
with
to the
Evo
roof.
Morales,
Hold
where,
on.
like, the minority of white people and Spaniard descendants took control of the government and with, like, the business people backing them. And their first
boy.
thing was, like, swearing in.
Okay, so this is interesting. I don't even have to build a landing pad, the alternative landing pad. I can just build this one. It attaches to my house. I might replace all of them with this. This is much better. Landing pad. Okay, it just attaches to the middle of my house. I like that. Right there. I can build a staircase going up. That's nice. I like that. Or I can build a staircase going down. Interesting. Where should I put it? I'm gonna build a storage over here. I'm gonna put it on this side. Fuck it. Is it gonna fit on the land? I don't think so, no. Damn, this is a massive landing pad. Holy shit. Yeah, my best bet, I think I'll just put it over here. I'll cut out some ground. Marvel Spider-Man 2 is ready to play. God damn it. I want to save it for tomorrow. Want to have energy. I'm already tired. I'm doing laundry. Oh, I gotta move my plane. Shit. Bro, get the fuck over here somewhere. Jesus, where can you land? There you go. Yeah. Alright, let me clear this shit out. Final touches. All right. Why can't I aim up? What the fuck is wrong, man? What is this? I can't build stairs on it. Maybe a flat panel? A floor panel? Yeah. There we go. Oh, it's misshapen. Hold on. Yeah, that's a bit easier than building the whole fucking landing pad for that shit. Oh. Nice. There we go. Nice. Excuse me. Bro, just put the fucking staircase at the door. What the fuck is this? It's... Where the fuck is it? What the fuck? And I can't aim my camera up. What the fuck is this? God damn it, this game. Alright, so, floor ramp, let's try this again. Let's try right over here from the floor. It's still going. Why the fuck is it going, like, right in between the fucking panels outside? Bros, can you stick to the floor? Go to the door! What the fuck is this? The half ramp doesn't work, but... What? Whatever. Whatever. I don't care. Whatever. I just wanted a slick little skinny staircase. They gave me the fucking option to. But it doesn't work. Whatever. Fuck me. Fuck me and my tiny staircase dreams. What time is it? 9:06?
On the Bible and not like the satanic indigenous stuff or whatever. Like, it's so overt. It would be like if white people were in the White House, perish the thought, and they were like, we're taking this country back from the black, and then they burn, like, I don't know,
Back
a
from...
DVD copy of Into the Wakandaverse or whatever those stupid movies. Black Panther. It's, I don't know.
Yo.
Oh, like the thing we did to the natives? Well, we handled the natives differently. What we did over here in America is that we killed them, and then we stole their land, pushed them back further west, killed more of them, pushed them back, made a deal, broke the deal, killed them, took more land, pushed them back west, and now they have reservations. There's like a 1,000th of them that there used to be, okay? What they did in Latin America was they killed them, raped a lot of them, enslaved a lot of them, but never managed to kill enough of them to just turn all of Latin America into a Spanish/Portuguese continent. So there are numerically more native people and native descendant people in most of Latin America than there are like direct descendants of the Portuguese or the Spaniards or whatever. And the politics are ongoing. A lot of the democratic leftist movements that the CIA squashed in Latin America through the Cold War were also native, indigenous, nationalist movements, where they're like, through socialism, we will give strength to the indigenous people here in Latin America who have lived in squalor and oppression for so long. And then we killed them. You know, what are you going to do? Now they killed a lot of natives. I'm not saying they didn't kill a lot of natives. They didn't kill as many of them proportionally as we did here in here in America. Obviously, there are way more indigenous descended people in Central and South America than there are here in North America. South and Central America just had more population than the Spaniards did. Feel free. Whoa, okay, please. I am not implying that the Spanish went easy on the Native Americans and please, God, do not take that from what I said. Oh my God, I am not making that point. Holy shit, the slave system in Latin America, country depending, was worse than what we had over here. By like a long shot. I thought they had families with the natives there. Like I said, a lot of rape. Yeah, because they pretty much only ran plantations for slave labor.
Almost forgot about the rape.
Yeah, there was never the same... I wonder how much of this was because of the American Revolution, right? Because as soon as America was
I'm gonna repair that other ship and scrap it.
An independent country, we had the whole like westward expansion, thing going on. What is it called? The thing for westward expansion. What's that term? Manifest destiny. Thank you. Whereas in Latin America, you know, those countries were kept as. When did being a colony? Colonial Brazil comprises the period from 1500 until 1850, where they were elevated to a kingdom in union with Portugal as the United Kingdom of Portugal. So still kind of a colony, right? Kind of like United Kingdom of Portugal,
Let
Brazil.
me buy a
the
ship to
Algarves,
scrap it, see if it's worth it.
The Algarves. Kind of. It's complicated. It's so complicated.
Buy for 5
More
mil.
like a viceroyalty. Yeah, but definitely not
'Kay.
independent. Don't look up what year Brazil banned slavery.
Oh, what's
no.
this?
1888. Honestly, that's not like that much later than us. I don't think we have a right.
It's a piece of junk. Get the fuck out of my face.
Like America is so. Yeah, I feel like it'd be hypocritical of me. The last nation in the Western Hemisphere to formally abolish slavery.
Oh wait, let me switch to this one I just bought. Then scrap
120
it.
years
Hold on, I
later, it is
forgot.
estimated that 25,000 to 40,000 workers are still victims of conditions analogous to slavery in this South American country. Oh, okay. Apparently, there's still a couple 10,000 slaves in Brazil, basically. Big country. Confederados, Confederates who fled to Brazil, literally like Nazis decades later. Come on. Ah, yes, the Confederate States of America, or the Estados Confederados de America. Yes, classic stuff. It's basically just the American version of like Nazis fleeing to Argentina after the war, right? Where like, you can't do slavery in America, so let's head down south where we can keep doing slavery. It's kind of like how Rhodesia, now known as Zimbabwe, was considered for
now
a
I got the
couple of
coach and I
decades
can
to be
repair
like
it.
a white paradise because there were like British colonizers over there who just like ruthlessly oppressed the black population. Yeah, South Africa too, right? Like, yeah, South Africa and Zimbabwe were both like, oh yeah, you know, white paradise, come on over here, the most racist men alive, go down. It's like, oh, well, why would they want to be in Africa? Well, what do racist white people like more than not being around black people? Being around black people and treating them poorly. So come on down to Rhodesia. Would Africa be better for Rhodesia at 1? And KCJ from LI, that's another weak band. They just can't help themselves. I'm gonna get an email in like 2 seconds saying, I'm so sorry, that was meant to be a joke. This is like the 18th time this has happened. Weird lad. Yeah, but ultimately harmless.
Oh my god, this is gonna need so much repairing. Jesus fucking
Please explain
Christ.
to us Europeans that don't get it. There is a big road that many people use, and a truck underneath it was on fire. And the heat from the truck make the road break. And it's actually really bad. Take a look at this. It's actually really bad. Do we need music? Now I'm worried about copyright. Why the music? Yeah, maybe. That's a lot of smoke, huh?
Go woke, go broke. The fucking chat. That's what happens when you go woke. Just war.
Oh my god, why are these drivers driving over a road with a noticeable slack? If I was driving on the freeway and I saw that a portion of the dividing line, the like wall that surrounds the road, was like dipping inward in the portion ahead of me, I would slam on the brakes so hard, I would rather be rear-ended than go over that. Are you kidding me? I'll survive a rear-ending. I would not survive it if that thing collapsed. They're Philly drivers, they're psychos, it's in the water. That is true. That is true. It is Philadelphia. You know? It is Philadelphia. Yeah, so, it collapsed. Now, to make it clear why this is such a big deal, because, you know, things happen to roads.
I need activated copper.
I-95.
Jesus
This
fucking
is
Christ. Can I scrap
we'll
this
just say
piece of
this is
shit?
a critical component of Philadelphia's, not just Philadelphia, but like broadly, like.
I hope I
the-
didn't
the
waste all my stuff.
infrastructure. Yeah, it's the highway.
9
it's
million
the
units.
I-95. I mean, take a look.
Breaking right now on Action News. A shocking scene.
I wonder if I could have just
morning on
scrapped it.
I-95. Parts of the northbound lanes completely
The
collapsed
gang is up to shenanigans. This will make for a good. They probably will make an episode on this.
in Tacony. This after a tanker truck underneath an overpass caught fire. The heat causing that roadway to buckle and come crashing down. This happened between the Academy and Cotman exits. Chopper 6 is live over the active scene right now. Both sides are shut down as crews work to get control of the situation. Action News reporter Becca Hendrickson has been talking to officials throughout the day. And Becca, what have you learned?
Nydia, sources tell me that a call came into state police saying from a company that's
This road goes all along the East Coast. Yeah, literally. It's like it's huge. It's incredibly large. It's incredibly important.
says the truck is theirs. At this point, we're told that police and ATF are trying to.
Please explain for us Europeans that don't get it. There is a big road that many people use, and a truck underneath it was on fire. And the heat from the truck makes the road break. And it's actually really bad.
I didn't lose that much stuff. I'm good.
Locate that driver. We're also told at this point that the White House has been briefed on this. 95 is not only a major road for Philadelphia, but the entire Northeast, and the impacts of this are going to be felt for a very long time, and for, of course, a lot of people. I want to give you a look behind me at the scene as it stands now. You can still see a lot of crews are out there. There are thousands and thousands of pounds of roadway on Cotman Avenue right now. Of course, 95. Part of it just buckled. Take a look at video from Chopper 6. You can see that piece of 95 that buckled to the ground, in the road, as eerie as it is, deserted around it. That's the 95 overpass over Cotman Avenue, and the interstate, of course, closed for miles around this. It did happen on the northbound side, but as that collapsed.
Apparently, people are saying no motorists were hurt, which is good, but the destruction of this piece of infrastructure is going to cause an unbelievable amount of human suffering, in the form of lost time to traffic, in the form of lost revenue and income broadly, economically, for people on every level of the, you know, the social strata. Yeah, it's really bad. The Unabomber's final act. Ambulances, yeah, it's really, really, really bad. Who do we invade to make them pay? Can we invade Iraq again? They had about as much to do with this as they did with 9/11, so, like, I mean, invade Iran? That sounds hard. That sounds difficult. Let's invade Florida? I can get behind that. The I-95 does run through Florida, so, you know, maybe they sent people up there. Yeah, I'm not even sure this happened. Notably, mind you, this isn't even, I'm not even talking like politics right now. Like, this isn't, I don't even have a prescription here. This collapse was not necessarily the product of any, like, lacking infrastructure, like any failed maintenance. Maybe it was, I don't know for sure. But this can just happen, you know? Incredible amount of heat. It was like a gasoline tanker, so the heat could have risen and made the rebar expand, or, I mean, heat just does things to things, you know? Heat does stuff to things. But I don't think there's any evidence to suggest there's anything behind this except for bad luck. I just feel really bad. It is worth noting, though, that a system which relies so heavily on highways to get people within a city to other cities and to other parts in the city is innately vulnerable to these kinds of problems, right? Like, if we rely so heavily on these massive superhighways, it does make us vulnerable to these issues. And considering road maintenance is so expensive and difficult and costly and it takes so long to do, you know, these situations are going to arise. Roads need to be replaced more or less once every 30 years. I think with highways, because most roads are made of asphalt. Highways are made of concrete, which is different. It's much more rigid, it's harder, it's sturdier, it's stronger, it can handle trucks more. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what the average time is for needing to renovate or repair a highway, but the process of doing so is really, really, really expensive, you know? How efficient are trains for transportation? In terms of energy loss, trains are mathematically the most efficient way to move things on the ground. I do not think there is a way more efficient than that. That is the apex of that. What about the other road that looks fine? Well, it's probably damage to it. Might just not have collapsed. Talk about how high-speed rail would have prevented this. Yeah, you know, it's just really unfortunate. Except for pipelines. Yes, we could achieve maximum urbanist leftism by reducing all humans into a homogenate of blood and bone, which we would then pump through. We would pump the slurry through piping, and that would actually be the most efficient way of moving people around. That is the solution to our problems. Futurama pipes. Yeah, we just need people to be liquid when moving through them. Maybe one day. Isn't that the plot to Ava? Yeah, kinda. Yeah, a little bit. A little bit. I do feel really bad for the people in Philly, though. Let me finish this video here. See if there's any new information delivered. This happened about a little less than a day ago, I think.
Collapse happened the southbound side.
No. It would have been earlier today this happened, right? No, it was earlier today. No, sorry. I thought for some reason that it was late last night.
Has also been compromised, so all of 95 is closed between Woodhaven Road, which is in the far northeast, all the way down to Aramingo Avenue in Port Richmond. It's because of this. The action cam was on the ground this morning as flames erupted from a tanker truck around 6:20. Whatever was inside that
another benefit, of course, of trains as a general mode of transport is that, as I understand it, repairing train infrastructure. Let's move away from Mike Ermintrout here. Thank you. It's that repairing train infrastructure is actually pretty cheap and easy. Like, if you think about it, right? Like a highway is like, we're talking this, like, I don't know, like 50-foot wide, like infinity long, gigantic superstructure of concrete and steel that has to be like structured properly, and you have to lay it and like give it time because it needs to settle into the earth, or you have like these gaps in between like the raised portions and the existing portions, and it's like, well, train infrastructure is railroad tracks, which, as I understand it, is metal bars on wooden planks with like gravel. I think you could do that a lot faster. So the biggest wear and tear that we get on our roads and on our highways is from trucks. In fact, the wear of trucks is so much greater than that of regular cars that in many calculations, road engineers do not even do math on how many cars will run over a street. That's right, when it comes to maintenance and predictions on damage, they do not even factor in cars, because a car is what, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 pounds? Trucks are tons and tons and tons, and you can spread that weight across a bunch of wheels, but still, trucks do a lot of damage, an enormous amount of damage. It's, yeah. Train infrastructure is also less susceptible to environmental damage. Road seeps into asphalt and concrete, or sorry, water seeps into the road, into the asphalt and concrete. It'll freeze in the winter, which causes it to expand, and that's what creates potholes. Water itself can create potholes even without the ice. The ice just exacerbates it. Yeah, you know. Oh no, I'm not saying you can fully replace freight trucks, not at all. I mean, ideally you would have like a robust train yard that runs to a couple distribution centers, and you could have trucks move things within the city. Ideally smaller trucks than the ones we see used all over the place, but I mean, it'd have to vary. You got to get stuff places. Am I saying this for a reason? Does anyone care about this general info on the... Okay, you know what? Let's just finish the video.
That truck burned fast and strong. We started to hear explosions out here on Cotman Avenue as the fumes were seeping into manholes. Another challenge for the firefighters as they tried to tame all of the smoke. I want to show you this video from Lisa Tormino. She was driving to work on 95 this morning. She said by the time she realized that the smoke and all those flames were on the highway, it was too late. She was surrounded and her car dipped down into the road as it was buckling. She's lucky to be alive.
Yeah.
You can see flames coming up on the right-hand side through all this black smoke, and then all this black smoke on the right-hand side and the left-hand side was worse, but the car in front of me really dipped down far.
You can hear Lisa there. It is so fortunate that she is okay and safe. Another point I wanted to make here, we don't know the environmental impacts of this at this point because we don't know still what was burning inside that tanker truck. You can see out here live.
Wasn't it gasoline? Wait.
There is still some smoke on the highway. I'm also looking at some heavy equipment. It appears that they're attempting to remove some of those thousands and thousands of pounds of highway of 95 that are sitting on Cotman
It
Avenue.
was jet fuel. Right, of course.
Again, we're going to be feeling the impact of this for months, if not years, here in Philadelphia. Live in Tacony, Becca Hendrickson, Channel 6, Action News.
It's a big deal, is all I'm saying. And we're probably going to see more issues like this as time goes on, you know? I mean, the amount of money that it takes to maintain our enormous highway and road infrastructure across the country, I mean, it's bleeds cities, states, just dry. We're going to see stuff like this probably happen more with time. It's, yeah, country's rotting a little bit. We have sensible solutions to these problems, you know? They exist. We just don't invest in them. More Well, there's your problem episodes. Nice, always looking at the bright side. Why does it cost so much? Okay, let me put it this way. This is just a comparative example. It's kind of simplified, all right? Imagine, all right, imagine that you want to do a little experiment, all right? So you want to make a little road system, like a little garage kind of thing, little deal, little diorama, but you're going to put it outside. You're going to make it out of wood, and you're going to make it out of paper mache. Now, building that to begin with, this big looping track of road networks and highways, is probably going to take you a lot of time and effort. But once you're done, you're done. And then you set it outside. Now, how long, exposed to the elements, do you think it would take before the amount of time you've spent maintaining it exceeds the amount of time it took you to build it? Especially considering the fact that unless you want to fully upend and replace a part, you know, the damage done by rain, wear, exposure to the elements, animals, whatever else, often is quite finicky and involves, like, road surgery, you know? It's just one of those systems where the greatest cost is not up front. I don't know if that was a good example. Just, yeah, it's very expensive. Okay, there. Will these really help? I mean, it's space efficient. The Fart Huffer 9000. I think there was actually a statement made by some official or somebody related to the airline who designed it, where they were like, actually, the fart sniffing shouldn't happen. Or it was literally some shit like, actually, unless a particularly powerful fart is made, you know, there should be no such effect. Wouldn't a socialist world also have this type of innovation, but instead of for profits for ecological issues? No, we should just stop having people fly. Flying is bad. There's no way for a plane to ever be electric. It's not possible to have a green plane. There's no battery in the world dense enough. You're always going to need to use combustion engines of some kind to move people. We just shouldn't. How do we get across oceans fast? Don't. I'm sorry. If you want to travel across land quickly, train. If you want to cross across oceans quickly, then you'd better be willing to pay a lot of money, because we need some kind of disincentive to prevent people from flying. If it takes more than 6 hours to cross the United States of America, then fine. That's fine. That doesn't really hurt the quality of your life that much. The only people who would be negatively affected by this are like serial business travelers, which A, them, and B, what, like dignitaries? In which case, like, if there's some political importance to you traveling super fast, then yeah, you can have planes, but not like every time any Midwestern family wants to go anywhere, they get in a...
Get out the boards, man.
Plane. We don't need that.
What are you doing?
What about island nations? Boats. Or if they need to, planes. What if my family lives all over the world? Tough! I'm sorry! Sorry, this is a natural, logical limitation of technology. Start rowing. This is a shit take. No, it's not. This is no. You can't. The first of all, planes at their current ticket price are economically subsidized. Airlines make barely any money, and this is after the government does everything in their power to make sure they're just barely able to keep these ticket prices above par so they can subsidize travel and tourism, for one. For two, this is being done in a world where we have basically no alternative to planes for any kind of long-distance travel. We don't really have a robust train network, and frankly, even in Europe, significant improvements could be made, and I see Europeans talk about it all the time. But in Europe, where there are good train networks, when you're traveling between like major EU cities or whatever, people don't fly. Why would you fly when there's a super convenient, comfy train that takes a bit longer, but like you don't have to go through TSA to get in a train or whatever. You can just like go to the station, get on board, and then you're on your way. You can walk around a train cabin. You have a laptop. Like it's a whole thing. You're wrong. Just give it 10 to 20 years and electric planes will be commercial. No, they won't. This is fake. This is not real. Currently, only small all-electric planes are viable. Yeah, like Cessnas or some shit. There is no way cross-oceanic travel could ever be done electrically unless there's some magic battery tech that comes about. That's not a thing. It would take 6 to 7 days by boat to get from New York to England. Then don't get between them. Dude, how often are you... First of all, the vast majority of flights are people flying distances that could be easily covered with a train with a good rail network. For two, like, dude, sorry. I'm sorry that it's economically and ecologically inefficient to have, like, ultra-subsidized flights so people can go around in the fart sniffer 3000 as airlines desperately try to recoup a tiny fraction of a percentage of profit from their failing industry. How can we disincentivize planes then? Stop subsidizing them. These flights should be expensive. Wouldn't this just benefit super rich people could still fly everyone else? Yeah, under capitalism. But yeah, yes, you. It's a luxury.
All right, that works.
Like, yeah, under our current system, only super rich people can get giant gas-guzzling yachts. The solution to this is not to subsidize the yacht industry so every proletarian can get a giant gas-guzzling yacht. Says the rich guy. I don't fly if I can avoid it. What if I want a yacht? Then eat shit. Well, or be very rich, I guess. Hydrogen or non-pollutant fuels exist. Come on, man. Right now, the only long-distance planes that exist and are viable use fuel. Sure, if tech changes in the future and it becomes not, as much of an issue, then fine. Obviously, if my concerns here are like ecology and the inefficiency of flight, and it's like, well, here's new tech that fixes that. Well, then there's new tech that fixes that. Not true, it's often a lot easier / cheaper to fly inter-EU than it is to take a train. Because they subsidize flights. Because they subsidize flying. Because every country in the world has collaborated to make it so that flying is the cheapest and easiest it can possibly be. It doesn't have to be that way. Yeah, and? Oh my god, do you know what happens when you artificially subsidize an industry? You create negative externalities. The insane subsidization of meat in the United States now means that all restaurateur industries are reliant on you being able to get a $2 patty at a fast food restaurant, even though meat is ecologically destructive, environmentally unsustainable, and economically unsustainable, which is why these subsidies have to exist in the first place to allow these prices for the products that are sold. Oats are also ecologically destructive. Oh my god, dude. Are you guys being contrarian for no reason? Why not just make it totally illegal then? Sure, you could make it totally illegal, or you could stop subsidizing it and allow the market to level at a point where we can actually see what the real cost of taking a ticket used to be. Or like what it should be. Tickets used to be insanely expensive to go everywhere. Why are meat and planes subsidized?
Oh, god damn
Because
it, main
the
battery is
subsidies,
connected to a bunch of shit.
Corporations insist to the government that subsidies should be made so there can be development
Alright,
in
you
that industry.
come
But the development they're
over
referring
here.
to is partnering up with other industries to allow them to sell those products for relatively low prices so they can sustain other elements of the economy. Subsidized meat allows for the entire grocery and restaurateur industries in the United States to be cheaper than they would be otherwise, even though it's coming at the cost of your tax dollars, because that's what a subsidy is. Subsidies should be reserved for technologies where there legitimately does need to be like investment capital to allow the technology to grow, like green energy. I said green technology, like green tech. like solar, which is subsidized, but it's led to something. The subsidization of solar has led to the cost of solar plummeting. The subsidization of meat hasn't done anything but like artificially keep the price of meat down. How would immigration work without cross-oceanic travel? I haven't said ban it. I said get rid of the subsidies so that it costs what it costs. If you want to take a flight from A to B and you're crossing the ocean, I'm not saying it should be illegal. I'm saying that the government should no longer be spending tax dollars bloating an industry when I would rather those tax dollars be spent developing other technologies for travel, like trains, which, by the way, the vast majority of flights are taken across distances that a train could cover, okay? Not every flight is from Tokyo to Los Angeles, or vice versa. Most flights are from dipshits in the United States going to other places where there are dipshits in the United States. It's from A to B in the country, or in between countries that have a land border or a land crossing, where you could easily have contiguous rail networks. I'm not saying everyone should be isolated to their continent. Is it really that ridiculous? Airlines don't even pay zero duty on their fuel in the EU. It's so insane. Literally, like what the... Aviation remains heavily subsidized with all parts of the sector, from airports to aircraft to airlines receiving state support. Any public money should come with green strings attached. The result of subsidies is artificially cheap ticket prices, which serve to drive up demand and reduce incentives for more sustainable aviation. Removing these subsidies is key to create a more sustainable aviation sector. Some of the subsidies include aid given to airports by local, regional, and national authorities. Often this is in breach of EU guidelines concerning state aid. CO2 emissions, airlines pay zero duty on their fuel, tax exemptions on fuel and tickets, plane tickets sold are exempt from value-added taxes. These subsidies total tens of billions of euro every year, money that could be reinvested in greening the economy or lowering labor taxes. Like, is this woke? So why don't we just disincentivize short-distance flights and remain the same for intercontinental flights? No, you will pay more for all of it. You. Hilarious how chat seems to think fixing climate change won't require sacrifices. Yeah, literally though, right? I know the average demographics of my chat. You can't afford to take a flight out every month. Are you kidding me? You're not Donald Trump. And now a bunch of people in chat who are normally like, yeah, ban all cars. This. And now all of a sudden it's like, hey, maybe we should, not spend billions to subsidize the airline industry in negative, toxic ways that incentivize like the least efficient way of traveling in terms of like ecological or economic output. And people are like, no, dude, I want to pay only $300 for my trip to Disney World once a year. But poor people won't be able to fly. Poor people can't do lots of things. The solution to that isn't to let them do those things if they're bad. I refer to my super yachts. My first priority on what poor people should be able to easily afford is not flights. Genuine question on international travel. Why there isn't a great alternative to planes for international? Then take the plane. Just don't take it at subsidized prices. Planes are expensive. Maintaining them is expensive. What if they have family to see or a new job? It's like in one ear and out the other ear with you people. If a train can get there, take it. And if you want to cross in a way that only a plane can take you, you will pay an unsubsidized price. What if you have a new job, family to see? Then you will pay more. I'm just concerned with how it affects freedom of travel. The people who have issues with freedom of travel are not the people who are like hand-wringing over the difference between an artificially cheap flight and like a more expensive flight. Freedom of travel broadly has more to do with national borders and any available capital. It's whether people can drive or travel at all. It's not like, massive damage would be done. Here's a great video on these issues. What's the deal with airlines? Oh, it's 46 minutes. Oh, from Some More News. Well, Some More News clearly hates poor people. I'm sure he's going to talk about plane subsidies here as well. Frenchie, that's not degrowth. Oh my God. You guys do realize I also think that we should reduce or eliminate the subsidies on meat and corn syrup and shit, right? You know that too, right? You're aware of the fact that I also believe that, right? Even though it'll mean that McDonald's burgers get a lot more expensive. Bosch is anti-poor. We should continue dedicating 50% of our land and billions of taxpayer dollars into artificially inflating the profits of a cabal of ultra-powerful fast food chains that make money by leeching people in with a bunch of like artificially flavored and sweetened meat homogenate that they get on the cheap because the taxpayer pays for them, effectively making McDonald's a publicly funded, privately controlled, hyper-subsidized machine for maintaining customer support. The millionaire Vosh, poor people can't do lots of things. That is true. That's my millionaire wisdom. That's how I got to be so rich, you know. It's me knowing that poor people often can't do things. That is true. See, there's a farmer agreeing with me. Kowalski from Nebraska. What's up, man? As a farmer, Vosh is right. I am trapped growing corn and raising cattle because the subsidized market makes any economic alternative too expensive. Yeah, it like, look at this. That giant yellow block in the middle is the pasture and range for cows. There's livestock feed. That's the other giant square next to it. This is like half of all of America, dedicated entirely to giving cows wheat so that we can kill the cow, and sheep and goats, and we don't generally kill the horses. We ride those. These subsidies seem like they're nice in the short term, but in the long term, they're not. Look at these. U.S. farm subsidies in 2020 alone. This is just subsidies and bailouts, just 2020. Cattle, 7.3 billion. Dairy, 3.5 billion. Pigs, 1.1 billion. And then, oh, look at that, down there. All of the non-meat things, like nothing. USA school meal payments to meat and dairy producers. Ah, what's at the top there? Why is the government paying so much money? Subsidies and bailouts for farms in 2020, 53 billion. This is a substantial portion of our budget. You guys know that, right? This isn't like pithy money. This is actually a lot. Totally unsustainable. But it's like I'm saying this, and people in the chat are like, so you want poor people to not be able to afford $2 hamburgers? Yeah, kind of. Because there are long-term consequences to these subsidies. Now, because of all of this hyper-artificial like deflation of the prices at the expense of the taxpayer, the consequence of that is that the only food you can get cheaply, quickly, and easily as a poor person, out like from a restaurant, not from grocery shopping, is meat stuff. To leave aside the ethical and the economic consequences of incentivizing this treatment of animals, and like I'm not even going to get into the vegan stuff here, but like going beyond that, you know, there are way cheaper ways of getting cheap, delicious food. Here's a quick question. Hey guys, have you ever been to a Mexican restaurant? Are you aware for the fact that essentially pennies on the dollar of resources, you can get like refried rice, beans, some tortillas, and some shit like that, some chips, some lime wedges. You can get all of that, which is a full filling meal with fat, protein, and carbohydrates. That's delicious and costs like $0. Like, seriously, if you could imagine all that land that gets committed towards the use of those resources, and it's like, no, this is actually the rice and beans block now. We would be able to feed every American for nothing. Every American, if you, hey man, want to get some cheap food because I'm poor and I live in East Los Angeles and I live in the ghetto and there are 16 homeless people per square foot outside, yeah man, time for us to go to El McDonaldo's, okay? Go on over there. Damn, you're giving me 1,200 calories of rice, beans, tortillas, chips, and lime wedges for only 6 cents because this shit is free, actually? Damn, that's crazy. I'm just saying, like, it incentivizes, like, bad, negative, long-term market effects. We subsidize green energy because we want companies to get involved in developing green energy tech. We don't want them subsidizing meat because there is no meat tech. We're not developing new tech for meat. We're just driving the costs down to keep the businesses afloat. But nuggies? Well, it's not like there still wouldn't be meat that's made and sold. It would just be more expensive, which it should be. It's inefficient. It's literally inefficient to make meat. When you harnessed meat from an herbivore, you're getting about 1/10 the caloric efficiency as just the calories that the cow had to eat. Like it's thermodynamically inefficient. There's no way to improve on that. Even with lab-grown meat, you would still need to invest more resources in the creation of a certain amount of calories of meat than you would if you just ate like the supplying materials themselves, or the caloric equivalent in human food. Yeah, meanwhile, NASA does everything with the budget. Yeah, NASA's budget is half what we do to support, like, corn and beef. What's the alternative? Don't subsidize corn and beef and airlines. That's it. That's literally, this is a huge, this isn't like some crazy lefty shit. This is bad under capitalism, too. Like, this is just bad. This is just bad. It's just bad. Now, hold on, I mean, but it's chock full of protein in a way that veggies aren't. That's not true. That right there is the meat lobby lying to you. There is no special kind of protein that you get from meat that you could not easily get from just eating like other food. There's nothing specific to it. In America, we've been raised on the idea that meat is like this essential component to a healthy meal. It's literally not true. It is so easy. I'm not talking about going vegan or whatever. I'm just saying you can just not eat meat or be vegetarian or whatever and easily meet all of your vitamin requirements. Being vegan is more difficult because there's still good stuff you can get from animal products, but I'm not even talking about like giving up cheese or milk or whatever else. I'm just talking meat harvesting. Isn't corn cheap without subsidies too? Well, the reason that we subsidize corn isn't because of corn, it's because of corn syrup. And if you all know anything about corn syrup, then you're fully aware of the fact that corn syrup is basically like the food waste sawdust that gets placed in everything we eat that makes us fat. So corn syrup is a deep state plan to make all Americans too fat to escape the reckoning, okay? It's like when the corn subsidies are literally so companies can go, well, at least it's cheap for us to add homogeneous paste to all of our food so we can add caloric weight and flavor at basically no cost for funsies, Highly addictive. Well, I shouldn't say highly addictive. It's not like cocaine or whatever, but, it's, historically, corn syrup was produced by combining cornstarch with dilute hydrochloric acid and then heating the mixture under pressure. The process was German chemist, blah, 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 chemical stuff, da-di-da-di-da. Corn syrup is produced by number 2 yellow dent corn. When wet milled, about 2.3 liters of corn are required to yield an average of about 1 kilogram of starch. The viscosity and sweetness depends on the extent to which the hydrolysis reaction is carried out. Corn syrup's major uses in commercially prepared foods are as a thickener, a sweetener, and a humectant, an ingredient that retains moisture and thus maintains a food's freshness. The primary ingredient in most brands of commercial pancake syrup is either regular corn syrup or high fructose corn syrup, both of which are less expensive than maple syrup. In the U.S., cane sugar quotas raise the price of sugar, hence domestically produced corn syrup and high fructose corn syrup are less costly alternatives. Notice how price keeps coming up. That are often used in American-made processed and mass-produced foods, candy, soft drinks, and fruit drinks. Glucose syrup was the primary corn sweetener in the U.S. prior to the expanded use of high fructose corn syrup produced in 1964. Tell me about this high fructose corn syrup. What are we doing with high fructose corn syrup? What? Nothing bad, I hope. In the U.S., widely used in food manufacturing because its sweetness was similar to sucrose, 8.3 million tons in 2017 production. Jesus Christ. Health. 76% carbohydrates and 24% water, containing no fat, protein, or micronutrients in any significant number. In 100 grams, it supplies 281 calories. The role of fructose in metabolic syndrome have been the subject of controversy, but as of 2022, there is no scientific evidence that fructose or high fructose corn syrup has any impact on cardiometabolic markers when substituted for sucrose. Little association between HFCS consumption and liver diseases, enzyme levels, or fat content. Lowering sugar levels may reduce hepatic fat accumulation associated with non-alcoholic liver disease. The American Heart Association recommended people limit total added sugar, which includes high fructose corn syrup, to 150 calories a day for men and 100 for women. Nobody is following that guideline. The basic consequence that you get from high fructose corn syrup is that like it's like a homogenate, where it's not like cancerous or anything, but it's like an easy paste that gets added to everything. Did I say sorn syrup? Jesus Christ, I'm tired and hungry. It's like a homogenate paste that gets added to everything. And it is like a measure that decrease the quality of our food, and like more of it is added than is necessary because like no American gives a shit about calories anymore. So it's like, why are we spending billions of dollars as the federal government to subsidize an industry to make the production of this cheaper so that food companies can put this in food rather than like the regular things that are in it? You know what I mean? Like, why are we doing that? Why does that happen? That's kind of weird. Subsidy stun lock? Do we not have chocolate milk without corn syrup? That's not true. Okay, I don't think this is a stun lock, by the way. I think this is an important subject. Yeah, this subsidy money could be used for like literally anything else. It is insane that in the United States, we have set up an economic incentive structure and spend billions of taxpayer dollars in order to make it so that like the cheap, easy food poor people can get to make it through the day is meat. Do you have any idea how insane that is? Really think about that for a second. Like actually comprehend how psychotic that is. That is thermodynamically insane. Yeah, not just meat too, but red meat. But meat tastes good. Rice and beans bro, I've had McDonald's. It's not that great. You're tasting salt and fat and ketchup. It's not that great. A good, well-seasoned rice and beans meal is great, okay? McDonald's is not that good. I don't know why. Like, yeah, a big hearty steak is great, you know? A really good like hamburger is great, but that's not what you're getting at fast food restaurants. You're getting shit homogenate. McDonald's is better than rice and beans, you mean? That's because you haven't had real rice and beans. What, have you had it from Chipotle? Would you have a bean burger or hamburger? Between the two, if it's a well-made bean burger versus a McDonald's hamburger, then obviously a bean burger. But beans aren't best when made in burger patty form. They're best when they're like a paste that gets eaten with the rice, or like, well, there's a lot of ways to use them, but trying to make a burger out of beans is kind of like you're not playing to its strength there. Ground beef is great in a burger form. Beans can be done, like you can do other stuff with that. Too much vegan replication food tries to imitate the experience of meat, and I think that's dumb, you know? Like, you're not going to beat chicken in a chicken nugget. It's called a chicken nugget, right? Like, there are other things you can do. The correct answer is tacos. Are you guys seriously telling me that, like, a good rice, bean, and cheese taco isn't better than a McDonald's burger? Because I actually think that's, like, a wrong thing. Like, I don't even think that's, like a personal preference thing. I think that's incorrect. Because the materials that it takes to make a rice, bean, and cheese taco or a burrito are, like, nothing. You could make it anywhere in the world, and it would be so cheap. Taco Bell used to be cheap. It's not anymore. Here's a rice, bean, and cheese burrito. I don't know, guys. This looks way better than a McDonald's burger to me. Like, way, way, way better. And the nice thing about this is you can make this at home. You can't really make a McDonald's burger at home because you don't have the gray paste meat homogenate factories that they have. You can make this from home very easily. I think this looks better even than like the marketed images of a hamburger from McDonald's. But if you look at like a real life thing, like dog. Like, the people who are like, dude, McDonald's is so good. Like, no. Come on. Yeah, I like El Pollo Loco. I like El Pollo Loco's menu better than Taco Bell, but they're not in as many places. Taco Bell has a cheesy rice and bean burrito, but because Taco Bell is marketed to white people, they don't have proper. Why does this look like it's been censored? They don't have proper rice here. You know, This isn't the right kind of rice. You want rice that's already kind of moist because it's been turned around with like salsa, or you have like, yeah, like this isn't like what, some herbs in there? What do you mean? Like you want it to all be like gooey throughout. You don't want to have like gooey cheese, dry rice bite, gooey beans. You want there to be like a kind of consistency there.
Excuse me.
This looks better. This rice looks like it would have more of a... They got rid of that rice years ago. So is this like the modern iteration? You want competing texture? You still have competing texture. You shouldn't have anything dry in a bite of a burrito. And right now we're still looking at fast food, by the way. This is still fast food. This is Taco Bell. We're not looking at like some like restaurant fancy pants shit. I still think this is way better than McDonald's.
Yeah, Taco Bell has some pretty good shit.
Well, now the rice tastes like Weevils. What is wrong with you guys?
Their
Half of
rice
the
is pretty
people
good.
Here, I swear to God, you guys are like your own personal version of like those people who can't drink water anymore because they've been drinking soda every day of their life for 8 years or something, and they literally like can't drink water and their brains are toasted. You guys are insane. You should not be socialists, okay? You are genetically Amerifat, all right? You are all Amerifats, okay? It doesn't matter whether or not you're fat or American. You're genetically, spiritually Amerifat. This is an Amerifat chat, okay? Americans have no taste and should not be able to comment on food. People say I have shit food takes, and I do because I'm autistic. But like, I can't compete with some of the shit you guys are on. Okay, the point to all of this is that subsidies in
McDonald's
these fields are
fucking
bad
sucks.
because they economically prioritize
Shit gives you kidney
really bad
stones.
systems. Subsidies are not innately bad because subsidies for green energy have produced good incentives. But the only incentive structure for subsidizing corn and beef is that you just artificially like enriched fast food companies. That's it. Like that's the consequence. And now Americans get disgusting, fat, greasy, fake meat for their like catch me up meals in the day, rather than like, I don't know, any number of other options you could possibly get. And you know what? And you know what? You know what? One other reason this is super f***ed up, one other reason this is massively f***ed up, is that these restaurants that serve these options will homogenize the prices to create an illusion of equality. But in reality, if you go over to like Chipotle or something, and you get like a meat burrito, and you at like cost of production, and then you got like a vegetarian burrito at cost of production, the vegetarian burrito should be like a third of the price, literally. Tortilla, veggies, salsa, beans, rice, blah, blah, blah. You put it together, that shit's like $1 to get the materials for, man. Probably a lot less, depending on where you are. And then you add the steak fajitas in, instantly, the price goes up. But because Chipotle doesn't want to exclusively have people buying vegetarian options, because that would create a weird imbalance in like the perceived quality and satisfaction of the foods that you offer, they raise the price of the vegetarian options to cover the costs of the more expensive meat options. When you buy a vegetarian meal at a restaurant, you're paying a price that is 2 or 3 times higher than it should be even under existing market subsidies, because you're paying them back for the cost of the meat they spend money on. It's everything up. Food could be cheaper, so much cheaper. Make a Chipotle on the stream, prove you're worthy. I don't like Chipotle. What's to stop businesses from selling veggies at an even higher markup? I mean, again, it's still capitalism. They would still be incentivized to lie and cheat or whatever. I'm not saying they wouldn't. I'm just saying that, like, as it stands right now,
check out my new landing
like,
pads.
meat is so much more expensive than basically anything else that gets
go
put
up
in
on
the
my
food,
new
except for, I don't know,
staircase.
almonds, caviar, whatever else shit you guys are eating. That, like,
Get a
dude,
new fancy
if you guys,
staircase here.
I just, wouldn't it be cool? Okay, let's say, all right, that, like, we did away with the subsidies and meat got more expensive. So now, like, a hamburger from McDonald's, like $5 instead of $2 or whatever the f it is. I haven't gotten one recently, okay, in a very city, okay? If the trade-off for that was that you could get high-quality vegetarian meals, rice, beans, if you like veggies, go for veggies, cheese, whatever else, all of that for like $1, for like nothing, the way you can in a lot of other countries around the world. Guys, I've been to other places. You ever go to Mexico? You think you're paying the equivalent of $4 US for like a rice and beans meal in a Mexican city? Maybe if you're like in downtown Mexico City, sure, okay. But generally, no. Nowhere. This just doesn't happen because it's free. It's rice and beans. You could get food for like nothing. You poors, you disgusting, dirty homeless people who I love. You, all of you who haven't donated this stream, who haven't done so because you're poor and you can't afford to. You could be busking, and one person like me gives you a $5 bill, and you could think, damn, this is like 4,000 calories of Mexican food. Yes, bro, that could be you. But instead, everything in our food economy is centered around meat and corn syrup production. And I'm not elitist for wanting to change that. If we subsidized rice, we could literally make it free. Oh, God, dude, you can grow rice like literally anywhere in the world. If you subsidized rice for the amount of money that we subsidize beef and corn syrup for, they would pay you at the grocery store for getting rice. You'd be, oh, can I have this like bag of basmati rice or whatever? And they'd be like, here, sure. Here's $2 from the federal government. Thank you for buying rice. Foreigners eating American food. Oh yeah, I saw this. There's a new trend in China where people make and eat spiceless white people lunch as a form of self-torture. Their commentary has me crying. White people food trending among Chinese workers. It's so confusing and outrageous to eat. It's so lawless and outrageous, a blogger wrote, adding that white people food is the lunch of suffering. However, many other netizens did not find the meals appetizing, noting they lacked flavor and took away the joy of eating. The point of the white people's meal is to learn what it feels like to be dead. But I've taken 2 bites and it was so bad that it made me realize how alive I am. President Xi, I am ready. Liberate us from these meat and corn subsidies, please. President Xi, I am begging you. It's time. Come here and rescue us. The proletariat of America cry out for rescue, and you are the only one who can save us. Please, President Xi. What are they eating? That looks like a Lunchable. By the way, an actual ideological crime, okay? That in America, meat is subsidized to the point where we can turn it into flavorless patties that suck to eat, you know? Where we have like Lunchable ham slices that are nothing more than a cold, wet slab to eat in between mildly flavored cheese and a dry cracker. That's insane, man. That's so bad. And then white people are like boiling their chicken and coughing up, you know, because the spicy, because it's like salted or whatever. Oh man, we do not deserve to eat meat. Are you ignoring the alien drama because you know something? What alien drama? Do you mean like the UFOs, or is there a content creator called Alien? I'm genuinely asking. The UFOs, I think? I just don't think anything's happening. Wait, Las Vegas aliens in backyard report UFO investigated by police. Is this what you're talking about? Declassified info says hundreds of unidentified aerial phenomena are reported within the past 2 decades. Yeah, of course. Okay, wait, isn't the follow-up to this that of like 280 unidentified flying objects that were reported by the Air Force was able to fully explain all but one of them? And you can't explain every dot you see in the sky. Sometimes it's just a weird drone or a bat or whatever, and it's like, okay, that's it. Like, you can't...
A bat.
I think how, once again, the footage is complete dog shit. Oh man, are you being real? Are we being real? Is that not just glare? NASA had a conference recently saying they had some cases that could be exotic or something like that. Yeah, could be in the sense of like, we don't know, but that's always been the answer. If you briefly see a speck of light in the sky that goes out, you point up, you're like, that was an alien ship entering warp, and then go to NASA. NASA would be like, okay, well, we don't know. Like, I don't, what? We don't know. Like, what are you? Oh my God! The links. Holy crap!
What the fuck happened here?
Intelligence officials say U.S. has retrieved craft of non-human origin. Yeah, we looked at this. We looked at this. Isn't this literally like the one guy who's probably going to write a book about all this shit? Like a guy, okay? UFO whistleblower says government hasn't. Okay, well, this isn't evidence. This guy is going to make a bunch of money off of writing a book. When I see proof, I see proof. There have been whistleblowers on this shit a million times. This has happened over and over, decades and decades. Body cam records UFO crash landing in a Las Vegas backyard. Residents call police saying a couple of 8-foot tall. Seriously? Are we really regressing to this level of mental retardation? Watch it, Vosh. Is this a parody account? Well, it says parody account. Is this a parody video? Okay, but I gotta know. Okay.
Metro police officer's body cam catches this. Something flashing low in the sky.
911 emergency.
What?
Minutes later,
There's like an 8-foot person beside it, and another one beside it, and it has big eyes and looking at us, and it's still there.
someone calls 911 reporting 2 large figures in their backyard.
What?
I'm so nervous right now.
The 8 News Now investigators obtaining
I'm
another
so nervous right now, bro.
as he's sent to the Northwest Valley home.
I have butterflies, bro. I really thought it was a shooting star, and these people say there's aliens in their backyard.
By now, it's more than an hour after that bright light. Officers meeting up with the caller and his family.
What'd you see?
It was like a big creature.
A big creature?
Yeah, like around 10 feet tall.
I'm not going to BS you guys. One of my partners said they saw something fall out of the sky too, so that's why I'm kind of curious. Did you see anything land?
Oh my god.
That's what they say. They see like a big something with light.
What I saw right now, I do believe in it.
Police walk into the backyard to investigate, but Metro blacked out that part of the video because it's considered private property. What's clear, they're taking this call seriously.
Hey, this might sound like a really dumb question, but did you guys see anything fall out of the sky?
Asking others what they saw.
I would normally discount it as nothing. However, seeing as one of my partners said they saw it too, only reason I'm actually investigating it further.
This isn't how you ask questions like this. You ask, have you seen anything? And then ask them to describe. If you ask, have you seen something fall out of the sky? Then our flawed human brains will construct a memory. It's leading. It pushes people towards an answer.
Investigation turning up no concrete answers as
wow, really?
Whatever or whoever fell into that yard, long gone within minutes.
Oh, hey, if those 9-foot beings come back, don't call us, all right? Deal with it yourself. I ain't dealing with that.
Wow, cool. Man, this conspiracy bullshit really bothers me. I don't mind believing in aliens. I mean, I believe that they're out there somewhere. I don't even mind believing that aliens have made contact with us at some point. I don't believe that, but if you believe that, like, okay. I just hate the incredibly low standard of evidence gathering on display here. Not to mention, again, black SUVs reported to the area and took aircraft and all video of backyard. Really? Did they? Uh-huh. Also, this says body cam records UFO crash. Wouldn't a UFO crash be loud and, like, make noise? Wouldn't there be, like, a bunch of evidence of that, not just a little light wobbling down? And the video didn't even say that. It just said there was a light wobbling down. Man, people fall for this crap. Yeah, they have alien crash silencers. That's true. That's true. Former intelligence official turned whistleblower giving Congress, the Intel Community Inspector General, extensive classified info about the...
Jesus Christ, that's scraped out this whole area.
This info has been illegally withheld from Congress, and he filed a complaint alleging...
Just for my building pleasure.
Wait, what is he saying? Has given Congress classified information. Hold on. Correct me if I'm wrong. If you have classified info and you give it to Congress as a former Intel official, shouldn't he be in jail? If he has actual classified information, like, think about this for a second, okay? If this guy has classified information that is so secret that the government withheld the information and has been silencing all discussion of it, explain to me how he managed to publicly announce this and also bring it to Congress. Please explain that to me. So this secret runs so deep that the men in black are running around the country keeping everything under lids. It's all top secret. People are being disappeared. Here he is. Here's a photo with the website. He's fine. Whistleblower, decorated combat former officer in Afghanistan, veteran of the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency, National Reconnaissance Officer. He would be potentially covered by whistleblower rules and Congress could protect him. No. I'm saying if the big conspiracy from the state to cover up aliens is a thing, first of all, why hasn't Russia blown the lid in it? Are you seriously telling me that there's an international conspiracy? That all the countries of the world, Russia, Kazakhstan, China, North Korea, Pakistan, India, that they're all like in on it? Or are you saying they only show up in America, like just the whole alien contact? They've got a mothership and it's just us, and no other countries found out about it, in spite of all the spies that all countries have in all other countries? Bruce said the recoveries of partial fragments through and up to intact vehicles have been made for decades. The present allies, defense contractors. Analysis has determined the objects retrieved are, quote, of exotic origin, non-human intelligence, whether extraterrestrial or unknown origin, based on the vehicle morphology, material science testing, and possession of unique... Okay, this is just bullshit. This is just bullshit, okay? If you believe this, then you need a brain check, okay? So you're telling me that they have exotic materials that have been collected that is known about within the agency, and they know it because of, quote, unique atomic arrangements? What the does that mean? Explain to me, do you mean the molecules? Are you telling me that this is a new element? They found scraps of vehicle made in an element that, like what? Did it radioactive decay in 8 picoseconds or something? Like, there's a reason we have the elements we do. They're unstable. The other ones are unstable. Does it mean a molecule? You can make new molecules, sure. Then why would they say unique atomic arrangement and radiological signatures? What does that mean? The material includes intact and partially intact vehicles. What intact vehicles? What? Intact? What do you mean vehicle? We have full alien vehicles. Intact ones. Really? In accordance with protocol, Grush provided the DOP and Security Review of the Department of Defense with information he intended to disclose to us. His on-the-record statements were cleared for open publication on April 4th and 6th in documents provided to us. Under protective provisions of the latest defense appropriations bill, signal growing determination by some in the government to unravel a colossal enigma with national security implications that has bedeviled the military and tantalized the public going back to World War II and beyond. It's all for a deal. It's all for a book deal. For many decades, the Air Force carried out a disinfo campaign to discredit reported sightings of unexplained objects. Yeah, because the Air Force tests out their planes and wants to lie about, obviously. I have photographic evidence of the source of the alien material. Oh, shit. I hope that's not the case. Oh. Keep the lid on that one. At least we won't. Oh, shit. I hope that's not the case. Oh. Keep the lid on that one. At least we won't feel it. Well, you know, it's super cool how despite all this info that's been leaked, we still have no info. A number of well-placed current and former officials have shared detailed info with me regarding this alleged program, including insights into the history, governing documents, and the location of where a craft was allegedly abandoned or recovered. Okay. However, it's a delicate matter getting this potentially explosive info in the right hand for validation. This is made harder by the fact that, rightly or wrongly, a number of potential sources do not trust the leadership of the old... Guys, this is literally just Carthy shit. Literally, I have a document of 60, no 100, no 10,000 communists who work in the government. I have a list of right here that I'm not showing you right now.
Look at that.
This list is very important. Look at this list that I'm holding up, but not showing it to you guys. It's full of the communists. I will never share this information with you.
Not bad. Hey,
for some reason. Like,
fully optimized.
This guy's just schizo posting. No, he's trying
to get that cock on me.
It's just attention.
Got that big fat cockaroni and cheese.
If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But like, yeah.
Right, let's look at the other bases. Let's look at my work.
Info transcribed into hundreds of pages, which included specific data about the material recovery program.
Oh, and that looks nice. Look at that landing pad, that staircase. So well. Look at the architecture. So well thought out.
This info was highly sensitive.
Check out the Oxyglis farm.
From objects of non-human origin are in the possession of highly secret black programs.
Oh,
the locations,
look at
program
this.
names, and other specific data
Wait,
being
this
classified.
house is beautiful. Look at this property.
Staff will
Lots of
these
farms.
Details.
Oh shit!
The
They've got a strong defense system. Big pole sticking out of the ground.
What is this? This is the debrief.
For some reason, ship doesn't have any defense for that.
He remains well supported within intelligence circles. Citation needed.
Oh, look at that
landing
pad.
Sources about his credibility.
So nice.
Citation needed.
Wow.
His assertion concerning the existence of a terrestrial arms race occurring sub rosa over
go
the
to
past
Gluck Gluck.
80 years, focusing on reverse
Get some
engineering
sleep.
technologies of unknown
Actually,
origin.
we're gonna
Oh
go
my God, it's just
to-
movies. It's just
where
movie
is it?
bullshit. It's just a movie. These people get to vote, yeah. All of this is
land, we're
fascism.
back
There's a
home.
reason why the entire right wing is obsessed with this right now. All of this is fascism. Fun fact, nearly all UFO sightings are from US and UK. Wow!
Let's
Cultures
go.
with, I assume, the most robust history of UFO movies. That's crazy. Wow. House Oversight Committee taking this seriously. House Oversight plans UFO hearing after unconfirmed claims of...
Beautiful
At
property.
least a hearing will give us something to react
Out
to.
on the range.
During a hearing in the wake of unconfirmed claims from a former intel officer, the U.S. has allegedly found
Oh,
crash
what a
spacecraft.
nice.
An
Oh,
account
back
the
home.
Pentagon says is unsubstantiated. Yeah, because they're hiding it. Ooh.
Output occupied. My dick occupied.
We are tracking over a total of 650.
Let's put the gold and the platinum back. We don't need that. Put that for sale. Get that silicone back in there. Where is that?
That's it.
That's some good silicone.
That's it.
Them silicone titties.
In this video, Pentagon officials said this was an example of a UAP incident that cannot be explained.
Go to the
Remember
Hidden
this?
Woods Village.
This is like a ball flew out by a camera really fast a decade ago in Iraq. And it's like, whoa, because they were never able to go back in time and explain this one thing that happened, now we get to hear about it forever. That's it, literally. Dog, you don't understand. Of all the billion, trillion hours of video footage, if you can't explain every single bit of it, if one person takes a home video that looks a bit creepy and you can't explain it based on the video, that's it, man. Aliens.
All of the data we have associated with this event. Some years ago. I want to underscore today that only a very small percentage of UAP reports display signatures that could reasonably be described as anomalous. The majority of unidentified objects.
I hate this shit. Alright, we gotta move on. We gotta move on. Yes, like I said, this is all fascism. The far right is obsessed with this. All conspiracy theories are fundamentally reactionary.
Ooh, I made it
If you
inside.
have
Let's go.
an
We'll make it back
assertion
out.
you would like to make
Nope.
against the bourgeoisie, then please do so through critical analysis. To this is just another way for fascists to point at the government and go, they're hiding stuff from us because they're all Jews and they're hiding it from us. That's where this all leads. All conspiratorial fear. It's the same thing. It's fundamentally reactionary. Investigative reporter Ross Colhart asks, when you say crash retrieval, what do you mean? We have spacecraft from other species? How many? When asked if the government had bodies, Grush answered, well, naturally, when you recover something that's either landed or crashed, sometimes you encounter dead pilots. Believe it or not, as fantastical as it sounds, that's true. Wow, that's crazy. Bro, here I am in this picture laughing along with my dozens and dozens of crashed alien aircraft and pilots, aliens. Just right out of frame. You can't see them. Okay. FD Signifier said, oh, this was when FD
Storage
Signifier was talking
augmentation,
about
let's
how
use that real
much,
quick.
How much interracial people he's okay with in his media. This is FD when coming up with this take. True. Debate bro fans are racist and the online left is full of white people who don't know shit about black culture. Black culture of being anti-race mixing, right? Yeah, I gotcha. It's always going to be the same thing. There's never going to be any like growth there or whatever. It's always going to be like, he just says right-wing shit. They all say right-wing shit. And then when you call them out, they're like, well, yeah, but I'm a minority, so. The guy he screenshotted and called white was black too. Well, another thing they get to do is they get to say that you're white if you're black, because the only way you can really be black is to agree with them. It's the exact same thing that Nazis do, where they'll say that you're not really white if you do race mixing, or if you're like pro-Jewish or whatever. Like being real white means that you have to be a white supremacist. Exact same thing, same people, reactionary thought. I'm the only leftist, blah blah. Okay.
How do I use my storage augmentation? At the appropriate Starship Outfitters. This isn't appropriate? What's going on? Upgrade Starship. Apply augmentation. What the fuck is that? Oh, for the cargo. Okay, hold on. Yeah, no, we're gonna get some purchase storage. 8 million nanites. Is it gonna cost that every time? Oh, that's it. 9 million. Okay. $11. $12. Yeah, fuck it. Okay, we got 2 super storage slots. Let's put the let's put the deflect the shield up there. Hey. Let's get some organization. Infraknife accelerator, peak damage potential, shielded, 10k, 6k, 16k, 11k, nice. We got the phase beam. Yeah, keep that over here. Actually, we put the phase beam over peak damage potential. Yeah, shield recharge on impact. That's really good. From 50 to, what was that, 60 what? 62, nice. A little heat dispersion with that. I think we can put on some more upgrades now too. We needed the efficient thrusters, sublight amplifier. Let's go home, do some upgrading.
Are you
and this just in, Ron DeSantis still running for president, apparently.
Wow.
Yep. And he was on with Margaret Brennan on Sunday, CBS's Face the Nation. And this is what he had to say about Israel and Gaza.
And let me ask you a little bit more about that, because of the 2 million people who live in Gaza, half of them are under the age of 18. Let's take a listen to something you said yesterday.
Microprocessor.
We cannot accept people from Gaza into this country as refugees. I am not going to do that. If you look at how they behave, not all of them are Hamas, but they are all anti-Semitic.
I'm sure you know all Arabs are Semites.
Pause it for 1 second. Ron DeSantis has jumped around in so many different directions as to how he's running his campaign, but that is literally, and I don't know if you guys saw the original of this, but it was when Donald Trump came down an escalator and said, we can't allow Mexicans in this country. He's now found his Mexicans.
But I don't know if the anti-Semitism accusation elicits the same visceral reaction that Republican racists have about rape and things like that, what Trump said.
Also, like
because they're also anti-Semitic, Republican base.
This would be clearly like taking people in as refugees and not just them crossing our border like hordes in the imagination.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's an homage, if you will.
Yeah, it doesn't have juice in the end.
No, but that's Ron DeSantis in a nutshell, right? It's mini Trump, but really mini. Just to go back just a little bit.
But they are all anti-Semitic.
I'm sure you know all Arabs are Semites, but how can you paint with such a broad brush to say 2.3 million people are anti-Semitic?
Well, first of all, my position is very clear. Those Gaza refugees, Palestinian Arabs, should go to Arab countries. The U.S. should not be absorbing any of those. I think the culture, so they elected Hamas. Let's just be clear about that. Not everyone's a member of Hamas. Most probably aren't, but they did elect.
I'm sorry, we just have to do this in real time. According to calculations about just because half the population are children, and because of the fact that the median age in Gaza is around 18, 19 years old, people have said that around 7% of the existing population probably was a part of the last elections that were held in Gaza, which were in 2006 because of how much killing, how much exodus there is in Gaza. That is not accurate whatsoever. So and then that's the first point, and then the second point is that doesn't matter what people's government does, collective punishment is a war crime. Even if 100% and all the little babies that are getting killed right now in Gaza voted for Hamas, still a war crime. Okay, thanks.
Any of those. I think the culture, so they elected Hamas. Let's just be clear about that. Not everyone's a member of Hamas. Most probably aren't, but they did elect Hamas.
In 2006, and then the military occupation happened after that, where they went in and haven't allowed elections since 2007. So in 2006, there was an election.
But there was a lot of celebrating of those attacks in the Gaza Strip by a lot of those folks who were not Hamas. But if you look at their education system, this has been an issue for a long time. They teach kids to hate Jews. The textbooks do not have Israel even on the map. They prepare very young kids to commit terrorist attacks. So I think it's a toxic culture, and I think if we were to import large numbers of those to the United States, I think it would increase anti-Semitism in this country, and I think it would increase anti-Americanism in this country. And that's something, after seeing those demonstrations pop up in our country, just with blood still flowing amongst Israeli citizens over the weekend, you had people taking to the streets cheering on the barbarism of Hamas in our own country. That was a chilling thing to see, and I don't think that that's something that we should ever think is acceptable.
I was there. I saw it on 9/11.
But no one's talking about getting Gazan refugees here right now. They can't even get out of Gaza.
Everything that
Yep, that's exactly what Trump said about 9/11.
I saw them celebrate.
Saw all the Muslims in New Jersey celebrating the Twin Towers. As he was calling into the Howard Stern show, or no, it wasn't the Howard Stern show, sorry, that was a separate broadcast. As he was calling into whatever show, Trump's now bragging that Trump Tower was the tallest building in New York City. Then saying that he was he had the view from above to see all the Muslims in New Jersey celebrating the Twin Towers falling.
I was on the Tellus building in New York.
Can
and
this guy
watching-
come up with
yeah.
his own crap, or is this just going to be complete plagiarism with just a whinier tone and less charisma?
You know the answer.
Bloodthirsty Islamophobic piece of garbage.
Here is AOC the next day on CNN responding to at least a part of what Ron DeSantis had.
If you look at how they behave, not all of them are Hamas, but they are all anti-Semitic. None of them believe in Israel's right to exist.
There's a lot in there, but I wonder for you, is he touching on something that that is perhaps real here? Should Arab countries be taking on the lion's share of the burden to absorb what could be over 1 million, if not more, refugees from Gaza?
I think there's something to be said about the region's partners being able to support and step up Palestinians. However, that does not abdicate the United States from our historic role that we've played in the world of accepting refugees and allowing people to restart their lives here. And I also want to address something very specific about what Governor DeSantis said when he said, quote unquote, all Gazans are anti-Semitic. How incredibly destructive and dangerous that rhetoric is. We just had a 6-year-old boy stabbed 26 times this morning because of rhetoric like that. And it is dangerous, it is unacceptable, it is reckless, and no leader in the United States of America should be amplifying a message like that.
And, it is not, there's a lot of evidence. I mean, we don't know all the details of that that stabbing of that boy, but as far as being reported at this point, according to the wife, and it's a very, it's a horrible story, but it's also incredibly bizarre and disturbing. I mean, aside from obviously that a 6-year-old boy was killed and stabbed to death, the 71-year-old Joseph Zuba, I guess his name is, was the landlord of the 6-year-old and his mother. And apparently, they got along quite well prior to the past couple of weeks. And according to the man's wife, Mary, told investigators that Zuba listens to conservative talk radio on a regular basis and became obsessed with the war between Hamas and Israel. Because prior to that, according to a neighbor, the boy looked upon this guy like his grandfather, and literally was. This is according to I guess a neighbor. The mother didn't have even 1% suspicion he would hurt the child because Zuba had been like a grandfather to the boy, even built him a tree house. The child, when he saw Zuba, ran to him for a hug and instead was stabbed 26 times. I mean, obviously, but that's what that kind of rhetoric does.
And I mean, let's be clear
What
here.
the
Just listen
fuck?
as we're in the midst of this incredibly emotionally heightened moment. When you hear Ron DeSantis weaponize anti-Semitism in that way, let that be a moment for you to reflect on. Maybe you're having conversations in your life right now that are incredibly frustrating, but understand that that is being incredibly cynically used, anti-Semitism. And the neo-Nazi anti-Semitism, the anti-Semitism that is incredibly real in the West, is not applicable to exactly to what we are talking about right now, which is Hamas, a terrorist group, being empowered by an impossible situation, a powder keg in this continued occupation of Palestinians, and killing senselessly, horrifically. Now, the total of Israelis is 1,400, and then the total of Gazans and Palestinians is now over 3,000, and it's going to keep going up and up. And the death totals on the Palestinian side, that's where the increases are going to see. Don't be disempowered, because this is the argument that's coming from the right, and it's being cynically used. And also, just like to the point about refugees, if the United States is going to fund this and choose to fund the quote-unquote defense of Israel as they bombard a population that's one of the poorest in the world, at the very least, moral responsibility that we have is to take any Palestinian that wants to come into the United States.
Does the planet
But that should not
pull
be
me in?
Even that's the lowest bar possible. I mean, looks like thankfully Biden is going to Israel and hopefully preaching some restraint. But even so, even if Gazans are allowed to evacuate, it still opens the door potentially for the
I can drift away.
takeover of northern
Not gonna
Gaza,
pull
and that
me.
is also
I got a strong
ethnic
ship.
cleansing. So I just want to be clear about that, because I know it's difficult to talk to some people in your life right now about this very topic, but listen to what Ron DeSantis has to say, and then you'll understand where the moral side is on this on this topic.
DeSantis is deploying a logic that invites more deaths, including of Israelis, that they voted for Hamas. You could say, well, they voted for Bibi. They have a racist culture. Well, there's a racist culture in Israel.
Mm-hmm.
They don't accept Israel's right to exist. Well, yeah, they don't accept Palestinians' right to exist. Like, this is just inviting more and more violence.
I mean, I think that, you know, to me, like,
Who's
I
threatening
gave
me?
up on the sort of like
Fugitive starship detected.
the-
I got
the-
him. I'm on it.
The moral
Get back here,
argument
bitch.
going back and forth, because it just depends on, you know, who wants to set at what time.
Alright, time to charge my
you know,
shield
like
using
when
your
people lived on the land, yes,
That is
2,000
so
years
good.
ago, in Jerusalem. I get it.
This infra
But
knife
in
is
terms
so
of efficacy,
fucking good. Holy
if
shit.
The state of Israel
Oh
was
man,
established
give me those credits.
So that in the wake of the
250K.
Holocaust,
Not bad.
so that Jews
It's a little
could
something.
live
It's a little
in
something.
in a safe country. At one point,
What up,
this
sexy?
project went the wrong direction, and it is not working.
Get that
And
shit
you
outta
can
here.
Go in as the state of Israel.
I
and
need
you can
miners.
level Gaza, but unless you're prepared to kill
I need
2.1 million people, you can get rid of Hamas.
I need people that will work in
Maybe.
mines.
But the idea that something's not going to return in its wake when you have killed brothers, mothers, fathers, sisters, children of people living in Gaza for something they had no part of. The idea that that's not going
This
to
is
radicalize
dangerous.
people, and this problem's not going to come back. I mean, you
Let's
know,
face it a different
this
way.
Is what the 17th incursion into Gaza that they're planning? I don't know what the actual number is, but it's somewhere around there. That's not. I mean, that's not just a made-up number. And at one point, it becomes clear it's not working. And I'm not saying that Israel should have had no response whatsoever to this, terror attack. It would be absurd to say that they would have no response. But how many thousands need to die, and to what end? It's not.
God damn, I need a navigation
not
data.
working.
I just moved it.
And,
Why?
They need to figure out another way of doing it.
And then
Come
to be also
on.
to add to that, you're coming at it from a rational perspective, right? It's not working to protect Jews in Israel. It's not. But is the Netanyahu government coming at this from a rational perspective, or are they coming at it from a fascist, deeply racist perspective that wants to clear out northern Gaza for potential annexation? That is the central question here. And then we're talking about ethnic
Yeah, I have
cleansing
my
at the
ship's
very
ass
base.
pointing out. That looks
We
cool.
don't have to speculate. We don't have to
looks nice.
speculate on fascist elements in the government, right? I mean, and I never know how to pronounce it. Smotrich.
Oh, he's a proud one.
Is a self-proclaimed fascist. Ben Gvir. There's no other way to characterize what he's saying. I mean, they're fundamentalists. They're ethno-nationalists. And Netanyahu is trying to cover up from his failure in keeping people safe. And the reason why there was no military down there is because they were up in the West Bank, essentially helping settlers steal Palestinian property. And we are reaching the outer limits of the capacity of this government to suppress this amount of people. And even by their own logic, this is a failed project, and they need to go into a different direction. And so, you know,
get the fuck out of my
it doesn't
house,
matter
bro.
If Bibi Netanyahu is
Trying to shit on my floor. I gotta
racist
clean
in
that
his
up.
heart or not. It's you look at the actions, and the actions are failing even based on their own logic.
God damn it.
And so,
well, I mean, one logic is like if there are refugees, regardless if they go to
All right.
Arab places or
I'm
South
out.
Dakota, that means
Big
that
Daddy's
more, Palestinians have been removed.
I don't really
Of course,
need
I mean,
this
there were refugees-
save
they're in
beacon.
Gaza.
I can put a portable
because
save
they were
beacon.
refugees from where they were living in 1948.
Yeah, I'll
and,
use
or
this.
their
Oh, hold
grandparents
on.
were
Let me
living
go
in
sleep
1948.
at the
And
Hidden Gliss
so,
Village.
I mean,
Concentrated in a place that
Sleep with the
has
gang.
90% of the population has no
Get
clean
gay
water
with the
before this
gang.
happened. Youth unemployment 70%, regular unemployment around 50%. Half the population are children. Just to
Oh,
underscore
jerk the
level
homies
of
off.
desperation
Help
here.
'em get some
They
good sleep.
are unable to travel. There's no airport. Without Israel's okay, it's very difficult to get to see their relatives in the West Bank. This is exactly the conditions that create more violence. Systemic violence begets terroristic violence, and then more violence in response. Enough.
all right. Well, we got to do some ads.
Okay.
It's tough to make these turns. We weren't even planning to get that far into it right now, but we got Trita Parsi
Yeah.
that we interviewed yesterday about the potential for a widening regional conflict. Good for the Biden administration at this point. You know, at the end of the day, if the price for them to inhibit an Israeli incursion into Gaza is that they've got to make public proclamations, then good. I mean, certainly it appears that
Did my game
Biden's,
save?
timing on this trip tomorrow.
I didn't see the notification
both
pop
A,
up.
is contingent
There it is.
upon a humanitarian aid package, but what it also does is they will not invade while Biden is in Israel. And they probably won't do it while he's in the region. And